3 years of hard work.
Punch! Punch! Oh, come on now!
3 years of determination. The Tigers of Auburn have learned the meaning of discipline and dedication since head coach Pat Dye took over in 1981.
They got the tight end in the game.
You got a tight end on the back.
We got to stop straight to the backside. We're going gator blitz.
The Auburn players have been a witness to his leadership and wisdom. They have seen his teachings pay off when it really matters, in the heat of battle with the game on the line.
Let's go, defense! Let's go!
Pat Dye has brought winning football back to Auburn. He has restored a sense of pride and achievement. Players, students, and alumni can once again hold their heads high. The Tigers are back where they belong. '83 was a season when goals became reality for Auburn. The Tigers stared at the nation's toughest schedule and blinked only once, achieving a record of victories unmatched in Auburn history. Auburn took its first SEC title in 26 years and headed for the Sugar Bowl with a chance at the national championship. The Tigers' return to glory is a remarkable story, a saga of commitment and determination. Southern Mississippi was the first team to face Auburn's offensive attack, an attack that featured the double-barrel threat of Bo Jackson, number 34, and Lionel James, number 6. With Auburn's strong offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage, Lionel and Bo were free to do their thing. The experienced Tiger defense dominated the Golden Eagles, yielding only a field goal as Auburn rolled to a lopsided 24-3 win in its first outing. But the Tigers would not fare as well in their struggle with the Longhorns of Texas. Auburn fans had to wait until late in the fourth quarter for the Tigers to score, and by that time, it was too late. But with the loss to Texas, the offense made adjustments, changes that helped them crush Tennessee 37-14 the following week. Quarterback Randy Campbell had been criticized for his lack of impressive statistics, but his teammates knew that he excelled in the one statistic that matters most.
The bottom line is he's a winner, and he's had a winning record here at Auburn, and we've been very successful. He's our field general that dictates what we do. He's a major part in our offense, and without him, you know, the running backs that we have can't function. And he's like the heart in our body. If he's not out there, we're kind of in trouble. We're almost lost.
The Tennessee game was an outstanding offensive performance, and much of the credit had to go to the offensive line. These players battled furiously in the trenches with little recognition, but guard David Jordan and center Yan Cowart know the importance of their positions and their value to the overall offensive attack.
Offensive linemen don't get that much glory, and we're kind of the no-names out there. You know, everybody knows who Bo Jackson, Lionel James, and all those guys that touch the football are, and we get our satisfaction in seeing the running back score. When we put points on the board, that's when we are, you know, at our best.
To see people like Bo Jackson run and Lionel James and Randy, the way they operate that wishbone and make the yards, you know, we get our satisfaction in watching them.
Tennessee's passing attack never got airborne, grounded by Auburn's aggressive pass rush and some brilliant timing in the Tigers' secondary. An 81-yard punt return by freshman Trey Gaines in the fourth quarter ended the Volunteers' hopes. Superior performance by freshmen like Gaines and center Yan Coward were proof of the Tigers' ability to find the right man for the right position.
I don't know if I've ever been prouder of a football team than I am you today. We overcame a lot of adversity, from getting up off the ground after losing that one last week, to having people hurt, playing hurt, sucking your guts up, other folks playing better. All of the things that evolves around football, you just played out there today.
As a farm boy in Georgia, Pat Dye knew the meaning of hard work. It has been the backbone of his coaching philosophy ever since.
You build programs with people, and to build a program with people, you got to find out who the solid people are. And the only way I know how to do that is through hard work and discipline, and we found out who the solid folks in our program were.
The coaching staff assembled by Pat Dye faced a tremendous challenge. Auburn was a struggling program, and turning it around would not be easy. In 3 years, Auburn went from 5-6 to 11-1, an SEC crown and a contender for the national championship. Behind this incredible turnaround is the driving force of Coach Pat Dye.
He's a man that you can respect because of what he stands for, his principles.
And he made us believe in each other. You know, we already had a talented athlete. We just didn't believe in each other. Since he's been here, we believe in each other.
Coach Dyer's come into this program and just turned it around, and it's just rocketing, you know, straight up.
Still, it was a great win for Auburn, and I know that all 75,000 people that were at the ball game got their money's worth, and it was a very emotional win for us. It was an emotional football game. It was hard fought on both sides. Coach Biden and his staff did a great job in preparation for us.
4th and 5 calls a seam route to Ed West, the tight end. And they had a squat corner, so we had to read him. If he dropped back, we were going to pitch the ball to Lionel. And if he came up, we were going to throw the pass to Ed. And he came up for the pitch, and Ed was wide open, made a great play. And the ball was there. That was a play they were using our minute man offense. They had a busted assignment on that play. The formation caught them by surprise when we went out there, because I saw the defensive backs hollering and screaming for the other side to come over and help, and they only had 2 guys, and we had 3 out there, and Lionel was wide open.
Really sure. I'd heard after the play that Donnie pressured him and maybe forced him to underthrow the ball a little bit. I think the whole defensive line putting pressure on him forced that bad pass.
Well, it was a beautiful weekend, and we really had a great trip because the weather was beautiful, and it was perfect weather for football last night, and our football team was ready to play. I kind of felt like we would be, and I complained about having so many folks hurt all week long, and it turned out at game time we had more people available to play than we've had since Southern Mississippi. A lot of them hadn't had a lot of work, but the ones that were hurt and we were counting on had been they're seasoned players, and sometimes don't need quite as much work as the others. And I felt like last night at times during the ball game that we had, we're beginning to mature as a football team, and it was the first time I felt like offensively that we were getting close to where we want to be. Offensive line did a great job coming off of football. Randy was flawless in his play at quarterback, and of course our running backs did a great job. Tommy A.G. and Bo and Lionel, and
no turnovers.
And no turnovers. And I don't think we had a ball on the ground last night to
May have
recover.
had one, yeah.
We
One that
did it. I guess that's right, but it was a good night for us. Our coaching staff has done a great job through this first 5 weeks. I feel having to overcome the fact that everybody we played has had that extra week to prepare for us has caused our coaches to have to work overtime. I was concerned going into the game. We had good preparation last week. Yeah, our players were working hard, but still, you just can't take anything for granted. People have got too many good football players right now, and they've got talented athletes offensively and defensively, and Georgia Tech we knew was a much better football team than their record indicated. Going into the game, they had actually made more first downs than their opponents had, and we got into an all-out war in the first half, and we were playing poorly defensively, and Tech got some momentum, and they had a good plan, and they just carried the fight to us in the first half, and our offense really didn't have the football in it. And we took it in on our first drive and had it, I think, 2 or 3 more times and didn't get any points on the board. And of course, Georgia Tech took it in once, kicked a field goal, and actually took it down and missed a field goal. And I was really upset with our defensive football team at the half. We had no gang tackling, and we weren't coming off the blocks. We weren't pursuing the football like we should, and we got too much talent, too much ability to go out there and just be satisfied to be average or below average, and that's what we were in the first half. And you could hear my comments after the game. I kind of got on to them at the half. I didn't use any ugly words, I don't think, but I used some words that I hope got down to the quick with them, because if we're going to have a great football team, we've got to get our great players playing great. And right now, we haven't had that. And we've had spurts of it, but nothing consistently. And we can't win the games that we got to win down the line to make our season successful if we don't get the great effort and the great execution from our most talented players.
Auburn's second play from scrimmage set the stage for the October 22nd bout with Mississippi State. Victories over Florida State, Kentucky, and Georgia Tech had given the Tigers a fierce sense of confidence, and there was no way the Bulldogs would stop them on this day. The defense was dominating opponents with frightening intensity. Turnovers and sacks made a shambles of the best planned offensive attacks. It was team defense at its best. But according to linebacker Greg Carr, the spark was coming from the men in the pits.
The catalyst of our defense will certainly have to be our defensive line. I think that pound for pound and ability-wise, they had to be one of the best in the nation, and they certainly played like it.
the Auburn defenders were developing a fondness for dramatic goal line stands. It was a tendency that would serve them well against their next opponent, the Gators of Florida.
It was good that we came together today and not wait until next week, because we'll need all we can get next week.
It's a big game.
It's a big game. It's a payback. If the front play well, the team going to play well, because it's just where the all-star set, right up front.
Right up front. Right there where the rubber meets the road.
That's it.
Let's go, y'all, make some noise. Get on. Get up, y'all, come on now. Let's go. 17.
More than 75,000 fans were craving action, and they didn't have long to wait. On the Tigers' first possession, a beautiful block by Lionel James sprung Bo Jackson, who chewed up the Gator defense with a 55-yard touchdown run. With the swirling sea of orange and blue behind them, the Tigers continued to attack, building a 21-7 halftime lead. Florida's explosive offense presented a special challenge. The passing prowess of quarterback Wayne Peace put extra pressure on cornerback David King and the Auburn secondary.
During this game, we thought maybe if we play man-to-man all the time, maybe we have a chance to get a defensive line to put pressure on Wayne Peace, because we knew that was the only way to really make him mess up, as I should say, and get him under pressure so he can throw interceptions and make bad passes.
A ball-stripping tackle by safety Tommy Powell wiped out an apparent Gator score in the third quarter. On the very next play, Bo Jackson added insult to injury. Bo's 80-yard touchdown run had Auburn fans going crazy. But on the sideline, defensive strategy was the dominant topic.
Talk them out of that draw now. Talk them out of the draw. We need to be getting the linebackers closer to the line of scrimmage on the blitz, coaches, standing back that 4 yards deep.
The Auburn players and coaches knew what it would take to win.
Overall, we played an outstanding football game that day. Although Florida had a lot of yards on us and scored some points on us, I think that we really displayed that day what Auburn is, and that's just a team that plays from the heart, and we played with a great deal of determination that day.
The depth of that determination came early in the fourth quarter, when Florida had a 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. The beleaguered Auburn defenders rose to the challenge with the kind of valiant performance that defines a champion. 3 times the Gators surged. 3 times they came away empty. The honor of a proud defensive unit was in the balance on 4th down. The hard-fought triumph over Florida was more than just another win. It was a statement about the character and determination of the 1983 Auburn Tigers.
It was a big, big win for you, richly deserved. Showed a lot of class, a lot of character, and a lot of poise in the late stages there when we had a chance to choke. We could have. Defensively, you went out there and did what you had to do to stop them in the end. You did what you had to do. I'm mighty proud of you. This is another step towards the Sugar Bowl.
Well, it was about like I expected. We got into the game, Phil, and actually made it kind of tough on ourselves with turnovers. But we knew Maryland had a fine football team coming into the game, and I got tremendous respect for Coach Ross at Maryland, and knew he'd have them ready to play, and I knew they'd be well coached and play as well as they could play, and I think they did. I think that we had some great effort on the part of our team, and another week to have to get up to play and against a quality team. I think it, the determining factor in the ball game was up front, defensively and offensively. Of course, we had 3 backs to go over 100 yards, and Tommy A.G. had a great day running the football, but when something like that happens, I think that you've got to look at the line of scrimmage and know that we're controlling that part of the game, and that's really what you determine whether you want to lose or not against a football team like that. And Maryland passed for a lot of yards against us, and they have, of course, a great quarterback in Boomer Esiason, but they could come into our game with a very balanced offense, rushing and throwing, and we shut down their running game, and it forced them to have to throw the football. And of course, we really and truly they hit some key passes against us, and they did a good job with the offense. They did a great job of running the read screen.
Everybody dump them in the shower and wet them up.
The final step to the Sugar Bowl would not be an easy one. The Tigers traveled to Georgia to play the Dogs between the hedges. Not an enviable assignment. Outstanding was the only way to describe the Auburn defense. The Georgia rushing attack gained only 51 yards for the entire game.
Georgia game was probably the best game that we played overall defensively. I know, speaking for the defensive line, that was by far our best game because we were facing one of the finest offensive lines in the country, and we came out and dominated the whole ball game.
It was the alert, hard-hitting defense of Doug Smith that caused a fumble early in the first quarter. The Auburn offense quickly cashed in on the costly turnover. A textbook block by Bo Jackson sent Lionel James scampering into the end zone. For more than 56 minutes, the nation watched the Tigers put a stranglehold on the Dogs' offense, thwarting every Georgia attempt to score. A touchdown in the closing minutes and an onside kick brought the Georgia fans back to life. But the Auburn defenders knew how to handle last-minute heroics. The Southeastern Conference Championship was hanging in the balance, but the Dogs could only move backwards, netting a loss of 6 yards in 4 downs. A perfectly timed move by cornerback Jimmy Warren ended Georgia's comeback hopes. The Tigers were Sugar Bowl bound, and Auburn fans were ecstatic. Winning the close games is the mark of a champion. It is also the mark of a well-prepared coaching staff.
We knew that we were going to be in a lot of close football games because of the difficulty of our schedule. So our coaches, and we worked throughout spring practice and fall practice with our players and talked to them constantly about winning the close games.
This preparation would prove invaluable in the final game of the regular season against arch-rival Alabama. this annual war goes beyond the normal rivalry of college football.
I knew it all the time.
Here's the game ball.
Sugar!
Tommy's 219 yards last year. They had to take away our fullback threat, and with them taking away that, it leaves something else open. And I think Randy did a great job, and he just pitched it, and the corners were there, and now split ends did a great job of blocking.
Football is a way of life, and especially in Alabama, and that's something that we really wanted.
Whoever win a game most likely will get the best prospects in high school football. So that's a big key.
It's bragging rights for the Auburn people for a year. Our players have got to live with it for a lifetime. It certainly helps as far as our recruiting efforts in the state. And of course, the Alabama game this year gave us the conference championship outright.
The threat of severe thunderstorms and an Alabama team determined to play spoiler greeted the Tigers on December 3rd. A national television audience and the SEC crown made conditions right for a big game, perfect for sophomore sensation Bo Jackson.
The great thing about Bo is the fact that he's good all the time, but he's a little better in the big games.
The Alabama defenders found out just how much better. Bo galloped for 256 yards, the best single-game performance by an SEC back in 1983. It was a great ending to a regular season that saw him achieve consensus All-American and SEC Player of the Year honors. The key to stopping Alabama was quarterback Walter Lewis.
I guess we've played some good quarterbacks this year, but Walter Lewis would, in my opinion, have to be the best one we've played because he could do so many things well. He could not only pass, but he could also run, and that posed a threat to everybody on the defense, his ability to run out of the backfield.
The Tigers made life miserable for Lewis. Number 10 completed only 5 of 22 passes, and none in the second half. He spent most of the game scrambling for his life. But Auburn was having less success against the Crimson Tide running game. And when Ricky Moore bolted through the right side in the third quarter, momentum took a dangerous swing toward Alabama. Tide fans had little time to rejoice, though. On Auburn's first offensive play, Bo Jackson showed why many people consider him the leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy in 1984. The rain finally came, washing away any hopes of an Alabama victory. The Tide would not cross midfield the rest of the game. For the second straight year, Auburn had defeated Alabama. The Tigers had sole possession of the SEC championship. The final chapter of this storybook season was a rendezvous with Michigan in the Sugar Bowl, and a chance to do what no other Auburn team had ever done.
Hey, how was it? Champagne.
Yes, matches and cigars too.
Hey, he knew we wasn't supposed to have him over there till we won it all. Hey, listen. Now, I don't want y'all to have anything any stronger than these cigars.
I've never been around a school that, in its own humble way, demanded and got as much respect and love and
spirit and enthusiasm from its people. I mean, it is absolutely different. And you know, the Auburn people don't have to have a great football program to love Auburn. They don't have to have a great anything except Auburn. That's the reason it's so easy to recruit to Auburn, because of the spirit of the school itself. I just hope that our football team will measure up to the standards of the school, and we can play the role that the football program is supposed to play at Auburn. I think we have, and I think that we've got probably a new kindle enthusiasm. I certainly don't think it's the first one or anything special about it to Auburn people, because they've always had great spirit. And you could feel it when you at the other places, but you didn't know why until you become a part of it.
The Sugar Bowl is important to us because we have a chance to go out this game making history, and that being that we can win 11 games at Auburn, which has never been done.
Auburn's legendary War Eagle had watched the Tigers play the NCAA's toughest schedule. Now it was the Michigan Wolverines' turn to face the team that many people considered the best in the nation. A national television audience watched two determined, aggressive defenses lock horns, scratching and clawing for an advantage through 4 quarters of bone-crushing football. Lionel James and Bo Jackson combined for over 200 yards rushing. But with Michigan defenders shadowing their every move, the Auburn rushing attack shifted in the second half to Tommy Agee, number 30. The freshman running back responded brilliantly, making crucial gains to set up scoring opportunities. Auburn cashed in on those opportunities with a clutch performance from kicker Al Del Greco. Del Greco was ending his career at Auburn with a long list of school records. But no kick would be more important than the one he would attempt late in the 4th quarter. With only seconds remaining, Auburn trailed 7-6. A season of hard work and determination were riding on the foot of number 3. The Sugar Bowl victory was the final act in a dramatic season. Although the polls would deny the national championship to the Tigers, the Auburn students and players knew in their hearts who was truly number 1. Coach of the Year honors and a host of other awards were piling up for Pat Dye. But his greatest reward was knowing what the 1983 season would mean to the Auburn players when their gridiron days were over.
I know that they will be able to go out and compete and win in whatever endeavor they go into. That's the bottom line, is for them to be winners when they leave here. Poised and confident young men, knowing that they can go out and compete and win.
It's been a great year, and you won't realize tonight how big your win was. We start out, men, and it's a 3-way game. Defense, kicking, and offense. Or offense, defense, and kicking. It doesn't make any difference. It takes all three. It takes poise and confidence, guts and character, and all the things you displayed out there tonight. I couldn't be any more proud of you if you'd have won 45-0. Now I'm telling you, because what you did and the way you did it is what's so important. And men, you're going to be in a lot of tough battles next year, year after year after year, individual battles with yourself. You won't have teammates with you. But if you just look back and think about that January the 2nd night in New Orleans, gain a little strength from it, it'll hit you down the road. Because there's a lot of guts laid on the line out there tonight, not only by Auburn, but by Michigan too. Give them all the credit in the world. Enjoy your win. It's been a great year for you. I'll probably be up in my room at the hotel. If any of you seniors want to drop by there, I'd like to visit with you later on tonight. And you don't have to, but if you'd like to, I'd like to spend a little space time. 1196. 1196. I love every one of you, and I know you got to love each other. It's been a great year, man. I appreciate everybody.
On behalf of the Sugar Bowl, I'm only the president. We're presenting you all with the trophy champion of the Sugar Bowl 1984.
You've been voted by the press the outstanding player of the game. This has been awarded to you in memory of the 2 founding members and all of the deceased Sugar Bowl members. Those of us that are alive, damn proud too.